jobs in Wisconsin.
Thanks, Dave. We're now going to go into opening statements. Jill, you're first.
I grew up as the oldest girl in a family of 9. And as the oldest girl, I learned to find my voice early in life with 4 brothers. And I also learned to help my younger brothers and sisters find a voice. I look forward to being the voice of this district if I'm elected. I had a great, great upbringing where my family was a beautiful role model of giving back to community through government. I had 2 grandfathers that ran for mayor, not against each other, luckily. One won and one lost, but we kept family harmony there. My uncle, who was here for my announcement at the county building, was a football coach, government teacher on the city council for years, and he was in tears when I announced earlier this year. My dad was on the park board for 30 years. My mom stayed home with us and gave back to the community as a Sunday school teacher and as a Brownie troop leader, softball coach. That was not her skill set. I don't think she should have done that. But she gave it her best, and it was a great role model. I went to school at Augsburg College and moved here 21 years ago, thinking that I would spend a couple years and move on to Minneapolis or Madison, and fell in love with the area like so many people here have. I was hired by the Friendship Program, where I taught English as a second language and citizenship to young adults, but I worked my way out of a job. Our students went on to the community and got jobs, or went to technical school and got training. And when we closed our doors, I stayed at home with my kids for a few years, as my mom did, and was able to volunteer in the schools and give back to my community in various ways. 8 years ago, I ran for a term on the county board, thinking I'll give this a shot and see what it's like. Not sure if I'll do this a second term, and fell in love with local government and the good government that we have in La Crosse County. On the county board, I've risen to leadership. I'm one of the vice chairs. I think my colleagues voted me in because they know that I research issues and make good decisions based on what's good for my constituency. I have mentored other people on the county board. Right now I'm mentoring someone from Alaska, and we don't always vote the same way on those really contentious issues. But we're able to debate those issues vigorously on the county board floor respectfully. We don't attack each other, we attack issues. And so the next day we can go out for a cup of coffee. I have been able to be part of creating a lot of new, good, innovative programs in La Crosse County, where we have kept taxes the 5th lowest of 72 counties.
Thanks, Jill. Dave?
Well, I understood that we were supposed to have a little bit of Halloween effect, so this is mine. Little cat in a hat, well, we'll see. I want to thank the university, Chancellor Gao, Dr. Heim, my opponent for being here, and all of you for having the interest in this very, very important race. This is one term, it's rather short. 1 year, it's rather short because whoever wins will have to almost start campaigning again, which is kind of disgusting in itself, but beyond that, we do appreciate the fact that you have the interest of being here. I'm very happy about that. The distinction between my approach and my opponent's approach is substantial. The need to look at government as a necessary thing, but only to do what the necessary things are. Reduced government is better for industry, and industry creates jobs, especially the smaller businesses. Here in La Crosse, there's a lot of concern about the rental properties. Well, when somebody improves their home, put in new windows and siding and that sort of thing, guess what? You're penalized. There should be a positive for improving and pride in your home. But what happens? The taxes go up. A penalty for improving your home. Why do these people suddenly find that it's better to rent their property? Because they can't afford it. I've talked to many people that were very concerned about being taxed out of their homes. With regard to my working life, I graduated from Augustana in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, went in the Navy, was a special engineering duty officer, worked on torpedoes and Sidewinder missiles, courtesy of the Russians coming into Cuba. That was kind of a not so much fun time, but it was okay. And then after that I went into sales in industry and learned really how industry works. As my opponent, I don't think has any private industry experience. That's what we need to get jobs. We just have to look at what we can do to help industry create jobs and be profitable. Now I hear an awful lot of things said about profit being a nasty word. Hey, if you want jobs, you better find somebody that's made a profit and can have an industry and can pay out of those jobs. The important difference between unions that are of private industry unions, they are needed. They do the job, but they have the skins in the game that if they ask for too much, the price of the product would be beyond control of the buyer and the company will go out of business. That works very well. And yet, of course, there have been important improvements in safety and work hours, so forth, for the workers. That's very important. However, in the public sector, that's not the case. They don't have, the people who approve these don't have any skins in the game directly, and the benefits are often way more than what the local taxpayer can afford, and that has to be controlled. We have a wonderful economic system of free enterprise. We need to keep that. If we have too much government involvement, it soon becomes a socialistic state which we cannot exist on. She talks about the fact that she has been on county board and they've had a balanced budget. If you borrowed money to pay your electric bill, would you consider that a balanced budget? And that's what the county is doing. They used to pay for things as they went. Now they're borrowing money to make it a balanced budget. That's not a balanced budget. Besides, all they do, if they do go up with higher rates, they just take money out of my pocket. Their balancing the budget is just say, well, I've got this big taxpayer unit out here, I can just bring in some more money. I'm sorry, I disagree with that. So those are the main things that are concern to me. We need to have smaller government, more efficient government, and keep no tax increases.
Thanks, Dave.
Jill, do you have any comments about the opening statement by Dave?
Sure, you keep misrepresenting the facts when it comes to me and the differences between you and me. In the past, you said that I didn't graduate from college, so I brought my college diploma. Just in case, I brought my high school diploma too. You said I haven't worked for private industry. I have worked for private industry. I worked my way through college. It was just something that we were expected to do in my family. I was the first person in my family to go to college, and I worked in moving and storage to make my way through school. And after school, I worked for several more years in moving and storage company. I also worked at a company called Huracán in Madison in the marketing department. I left that job to come here to La Crosse. And the third thing is that the county balances balances our budget by borrowing, and that's also simply not true. We have done some borrowing for projects like the jail, and we've done some short-term borrowing for roads at a point where it made sense, and it worked out well in our budget. We have an excellent bond rating, and if we were over borrowing, we wouldn't have that excellent bond rating. We've managed to balance our budget every year under the constraints that have been set forth by 2 different governors, and we'll continue to do that because that's what we're good at.
Do you have any comments?